welcome back to the channel. And it's November 11th, Armistice Day, and I'm taking the Jeep out today, having been out yesterday on the push bikes with Glenda. We went to the air crash site in Lammermuirs that you'd have watched previously to this. So today it was time to get the Willys Jeep out, as always, take it out on Armistice Day for a run. So sadly you can't quite hear the Jeep engine with the wind today. Just seems to be the GoPro picking it up for some reason. It's probably the wind direction coming off the top of the screen. I've got frame rails up for the hood, so I've got the GoPro mounted up there just so you've got a view. But yeah, coming up to Whitekirk from Dunbar, got a few cars flashing the lights, smiles and waves, and it's always nice when you take the Jeep out and folks see it. And I guess this weekend people know why you're probably out in this iconic vehicle of World War II. And while this Jeep is a post-World War II Willys MB, termed a Hotchkiss M201, as it is one of the Willys Jeeps that after World War II went into French military rebuild, and then at a later date had remanufactured parts under license of Willys Overland to keep these machines in production for the French military right up till they were sold off in the 1990s. Its heritage is the Willys Jeeps of World War II, and it shares a lot of the parts of Willys Jeeps. Ford, who also made half of the World War II produced Jeeps, which was a total of over 600,000 Jeeps, but there was enough spares to rebuild those Jeeps over 3 times. So yeah, history moves on, and the Jeeps evolved as well into the later Jeeps, but the French continued to use World War II Jeeps, and it's an iconic machine, said to be one of the winning factors of World War II, along with everything else, was the Willys Jeep. So yeah, it's a nice day to be out. It is cold, hence I've got the Irwin flying jacket on. If a jacket's rated to -40, then it's warm enough for a Scottish winter day. So cruise down to North Berwick, and we're going to park up and have pay our respects at a small memorial which is overlooked by other World War II memorials in East Lothian. Well, Glenda and I have a massive interest in World War II aircraft, and a lot of it's based on local fighter stations here in East Lothian, and the many sad crash sites in local hills of training mishaps. We also have a massive history in Scotland for Coastal Command, which is not often mentioned south of the border. A lot of people don't know much about Coastal Command, but Coastal Command was basically the defence of the convoys to the UK, which we were dependent on as the war went on. And the detection and destroying of U-boats in particular, and later on in the war the Catalina aircraft of Coastal Command, which were used for search and rescue, because they were the first aircraft that could join the gap. There was a big gap between air defence between America, Newfoundland, Iceland and Britain, especially Scotland. A no man's area, which is a killing zone for German U-boats, which was reached eventually with the long distance Catalina aircraft and the Sutherlands as well. So Coastal Command's relationship with East Lothian was at East Fortune, where they had Operational Training Unit 60, OTU 60, which was Bristol Beauforts and then Bullfighters, and they had live fire ranges off the coast here in East Lothian. And you'll have seen that in the metal detecting film that I made with the Hispanos. So they were first of all using Hispanos, and then they went on to projectile missiles, and they also used torpedoes. And it was basically, they were training up bullfighters to go on to attack the shipping going to Norway for Germany. And I'll put a link down below of that metal detecting film if folk have missed that. You might find that interesting. Plenty of evidence of that training still to be found today if you know where to look. And but yeah, along with Coastal Command and training bases in Scotland and operational bases where they flew from, was also the Fleet Air Arm, which had numerous bases well around Scotland. So there was a lot of air training and air exercises, missions, etc. from Scotland to Norway, and the Atlantic convoys and stuff going on, which is often overlooked with the whole Battle of Britain and Bomber Command memorials and stuff that you watch or read about. But we can't forget about Bomber Command, and the statistics I'll read out this now in a bit once we get there to the memorial proves just how important they were. Oh yeah, it's a shame the wind noise is so loud on the GoPro. Also, when I was after editing it up, I realised that the wind setting wasn't switched on, so apologise for that. So you don't get the wail of the Jeep. So the noise of the fan of this thing is quite unique, and that and the drone of the bar grip tyres. So on days like this, you'll not get the temperature to go above about 140 on the Jeep because of the size of the fan. They're seriously overcooled, these engines, so they could be used hard. But you'll get a bit of Jeep wail of the diffs and stuff and the fan as we go up through the high street. You can't really own one of these and drive one and not expect to have folk stand and stare at you. But yeah, usually it's a nice stare and a nice smile you get from folk. So there is road salt now on the roads this week, and it doesn't bother me. My Jeep's, I bought it to use, the whole Jeep's been coated with lano guard, which I also used underneath the chassis and stuff on my Royal Enfield. And I buy things to use, and I'm not, this isn't starting to be mollycoddled and tucked away. You know, these things cost a lot of money, they're worth a lot of money, but you know, you've got to get these things out and use them and let people see them. And it's rewarding and nice when folk come up and look at your vehicles and ask you about them and stuff. And it's amazing the young people, especially folk with kids, and the kids know what it is. And they might not know it's World War II Jeep, but they know it is a Jeep, and it's very old. And it's very important that people get to see these vehicles out and about, because they are history, you know, and these, what the men and women that drove these vehicles did should not be forgotten, you know. It's all part of the war effort, which, you know, shouldn't be. It's got to be. It has to be remembered, and there's no better way than seeing these things out and about and letting folk have a look at them and stuff. It's good. So we'll head down to the harbour and park up. Getting a parking space is always fun in North Berwick compared to Dunbar. It's always packed, always busy, as you can see on the beach. But I can spy a bit there, we'll get in there. There you go. This memorial basically details Scotland's involvement with Coastal Command. It was about the victory of the war against the U-boats. So here's some stats, okay? Service first saw action from the first day of hostilities to the last day of the Second World War. One of the few units that did. It flew over 1 million flying hours in 240,000 operations, and it destroyed 212 U-boats. So Coastal Command casualties amounted to 2,060 aircraft to all causes, and some 5,866 personnel were killed in action. So during 1940 to 1945, Coastal Command sank 366 German transport vessels and damaged 134. The total tonnage sunk was 512,330 tonnes, with 513 tonnes damaged. A total of 10,663 persons were rescued by the command, including 5,721 Allied crews, 277 enemy personnel, and 465 non-air crews. So yeah, an important part of World War II not to be forgotten. So thanks for watching, and I'll be out on the Royal Enfield tomorrow, Sunday Remembrance Day, and I've got a couple of grave sites I'm going to go and have a look at again, pay my respects. So we'll see you there. Thanks for watching. As always, bye for now.